Hope you all are doing good. Guys, in this lecture, we are going to revise one very simple topic and a very important topic, that is activity based costing. So, it is just an extension of the previous topic which we have studied, that is overhead divided into two parts: overhead absorption method of costing and overhead activity based costing, ABC. Now, guys, boys and girls, let's quickly compare traditional method of absorption costing and your activity based costing. So first step in traditional method of costing, you are going to follow first step. Already we have discussed 2-3 times, but let's see. First one will be the collection of the overhead. Overhead will be collected from the past record bill, invoice, challans. Second one is the allocation of the overhead. In that allocation of overhead, you are going to allocate the specific overhead and charge that specific overhead to the respective department. Next one, if common overhead left, then you will apportion that common overhead on some suitable basis. All building related expenses in the ratio of floor space, all machine related expenses in the ratio of the capital value of machinery, and so on. After that, you will reapportion the overhead of service department to the production department. In that situation, you are going to work whether service department provides service to production department only, or service department provides service to service department as well as other production department. So boys and girls, if service department provides service only to production department, we follow direct method. If service department provides service to production department as well as service department, we follow in that situation check whether reciprocal is there or non-reciprocal is there. If one service department gives to second and second also give to first one, then it is a reciprocal. Three methods are there: simultaneous equation method, repeated distribution method, and trial and error method. In absence of the method, generally we follow simultaneous equation method. Then Saji, non-reciprocal, only one method is applicable, step ladder method. Under that method, reapportion overhead of that service department first, which give maximum service to other service department, and so on. After this Saji, reapportionment of the service department overhead to the production department, our next step will be, we calculate overhead rate. Overhead rate are 6: machine overhead, labor rate, unit rate, percentage of material, percentage of labor, percentage of prime cost. In all the formula, numerator is same, budgeted overheads. If you calculate machine overheads, then formula will be budgeted overheads upon budgeted machine hours. If you calculate labor overhead, budgeted overheads upon budgeted labor hours. If you calculate unit rate, budgeted overheads upon budgeted output. If you calculate percentage of material, then budgeted overheads upon material cost into 100. If you calculate percentage of labor, budgeted overheads upon labor cost into 100. If you calculate percentage of prime cost, then budgeted overheads divided by budgeted prime cost multiplied by 100. This formula you are going to follow, guys. Once you calculate overhead absorption rate, then you prepare the cost sheet. That overhead absorption rate can be prepared in two ways. Very important point, you'll have to remember that two ways are: either you will prepare department wise rate or you will prepare blanket rate. In the department wise rate, you will calculate separate rate for each department. Under blanket rate, you calculate combined rate for each department, means all department together. So if you calculate blanket rate, formula is simple. Suppose machine hour rate is asked in question. So budgeted total machine hours overheads of all the department divided by total machine hours of all the department. So one blanket rate, single rate for all department you are going to calculate in that blanket rate method. After calculation of that departmental rate or that blanket rate, you prepare the cost sheet. You prepare the cost sheet. You absorb the overhead on the basis of predetermined rate. So these are the steps which you are going to follow in case of traditional absorption method of costing. Now let's see what are the steps you are going to follow in case of that activity based costing, ABC. Sir, under ABC, first step is you'll have to define the activities. Shortcut, you'll have to remember, activities are the step which you perform right from procurement of the material till the delivery of the goods till the customer service. So whatever the steps you perform where you incur the cost, that steps are called as an activity. So there are some specific activity which are almost used in each and every question. That activities are, you'll have to remember this. These are all maximum used in the question. 90%, 95%. Only these activity will be asked in examination. First activity will be material procurement activity or ordering activity, order placing activity, purchasing activity. Second activity is setup of the machine. third one is a machining activity, fourth one is quality inspection activity, then delivery or dispatch activity, last is engineering activity. So these are the six commonly used activity. Of course there will be some one or more extra activity which will be given, which will be simple, guys, but sir, my observation in all questions generally they ask these six activities. So ordering, machine setup, machining, inspection, then surgery, delivery dispatch, and engineering. So first step, define activity. In question, no need to define the activity. In the question, they will directly give these are the activities. Switch on the fan, no problem. Yes, yes, concentrate. So, guys, boys and girls, so all these activity will be given in the question. Now, step number 2. After calculation or after defining the activity, second step is to calculate cost of each activity. You need to calculate cost of each activity means how much will be your total overhead belongs to ordering cost, belong to setup cost, belong to machining cost, delivery cost, inspection cost, and engineering cost. So calculate cost of each and every activity is your step number 2. Calculate cost of each activity. Now step number 3, very important, define appropriate activity cost driver. Define appropriate activity cost driver. Yes, sir ji. Define appropriate cost driver. This appropriate cost driver you will have to remember in every question you will have to use this. Ordering cost is dependent on number of orders. Machine setup cost is dependent on number of setups carried on by you. Machining cost is dependent on machine hours. Inspection cost is dependent on number of inspection, number of quality inspections. Delivery or dispatch cost is dependent on number of delivery, number of dispatch. Engineering cost is dependent on engineering hours. Yes, sir ji. What are appropriate cost driver? Tell me quickly, sir ji. I'll ask some question and you'll have to answer. Sir, for ordering activity, which is appropriate cost driver? First answer, number of order. For delivery, number of delivery. For setups, number of setups. Then, sir ji, for inspection, number of quality inspection carried on. Next one, for machining activity, what will be the appropriate cost driver? Machine hours will be the cost driver. For engineering, what will be the appropriate cost driver? Engineering hours will be your appropriate cost driver. So 3 steps are over. First step is to calculate, define activity. Second step is to calculate cost of each and every activity. Third step, Saji, define cost driver. Fourth step is very simple, calculate activity cost driver rate. Calculate activity cost driver rate, and very simple, step number 2 divided by step number 3. What is the step number 2? Read, sir. What is the step number 2? Cost of each activity divided by, yes, sir ji, cost of each activity divided by units of cost driver. How to calculate activity cost driver rate? You can check this line. Sir ji, activity ka cost, how much is your cost of ordering divided by number of orders? Delivery divided by number of deliveries. Dispatch cost divided by number of dispatch. Setup cost divided by total number of setups. Machining cost divided by total machine hours. Inspection cost divided by inspection, number of inspection. Engineering cost total divided by engineering hours. This is how you calculate activity cost driver rate. And once you calculate activity cost driver rate, last step is to prepare cost sheet. So guys, boys and girls, in traditional method of costing also, literally same thinking and same steps you follow. In traditional method of costing also, you calculate overhead rate and you prepare the cost sheet. In activity based costing also, you calculate rate and you prepare the cost sheet. Now please understand the difference between traditional method of costing and activity based costing. Some very important difference you'll have to remember, some very important point you'll have to remember in examination while solving the question. Point number 1 you'll have to remember. Guys, point number 1 is, in traditional method of costing, you calculate departmental rate or you calculate blanket rate. Generally, sir, we have solved 99% question department wise cost we have calculated. Say for example, if you remember, production department 1, production department 2, production department 3, service department 1, service department 2, service department 3. So generally we take a cost department wise. So what is the difference in traditional method and ABC? Here you calculate cost generally department wise and under activity based costing you calculate cost activity wise. Here you calculate 6 overhead absorption rate. Out of 6, whatever appropriate machine overhead, labor overhead you follow. But in case of activity based costing, you calculate separate rate for each activity. Suppose there are 4 activity, you calculate separate rate for 4 activities. Suppose there are only 2 activity, you calculate separate rate for the 2 activities. So this is your important point. Next important point, while preparing cost sheet, generally I am using the word general. Under traditional method of costing, cost sheet will be prepared per unit, but under activity based costing, compulsory you will have to prepare total cost sheet. Compulsory total cost sheet you will have to prepare. Most important sentence of this topic is, you follow traditional method of costing or you follow activity based costing, total overhead amount will be same. Very important observation, sir. 10 marks question, 8 marks question, 2-3 times asked in examination. I am going to show you that question as well. What is the importance of this line? Sir, you follow traditional method of costing or you follow activity based costing, your total overhead under both the method should be same. This is just a different method of accounting. It will not change your total cost. It will not change your total cost. It will not change your total overheads. Okay, so total overhead under traditional method of costing will equal to total overhead under activity based costing. And second important rule under this, sir, you'll have to remember, you follow traditional method or you follow activity based costing method, your prime cost should be same, because these are overhead. These are the overhead concept. Prime cost will be above overhead. So direct material, direct labor, direct expenses will not change because of this overhead topic. So 2 important sentence I told you. You follow traditional method of costing or ABC, total overhead should be same. Second important point I told you, Sirji, prime cost under both the method will be same. Here, per unit cost sheet you will prepare under traditional method. Under ABC, you will prepare total cost sheet. In traditional method, you calculate departmental rate, either machine overhead, labor overhead, dependent on the nature of the department. And under ABC, you calculate separate rate for each activity. Separate rate for each activity. So these are the point of difference between traditional method of costing and activity based costing. Now guys, repeat which steps you will follow in activity based costing. Step number 1, define activity. So no need to define generally in the question they will give. These are your activities. Step number 2, calculate cost of each and every activity. Third step, cost driver, Saji. Calculate appropriate cost driver for each and every activity. Next one. So after defining cost driver, next is the calculate activity cost driver rate. Activity cost driver rate is simple. Step number 2 divided by step number 3. Yes, Sirji. Next one, if you calculate activity cost driver rate, then last step is very simple. You'll have to prepare the cost sheet. You'll have to prepare the cost sheet. So these are all important points you'll have to remember. We are going to solve some important question. Yes, sir. We will solve one very important question. Then I'll take you to other important question that we have solved in our class also, so that this topic will be over today only. We'll read one question 2-3 times asked in examination. This is there in our module, in our study material which we have completed in class. MNL Limited manufacture 2 type of equipment A and B and absorb the overhead on the basis of direct labor hours. Yes, Sirji. Absorb the overhead on which basis? Underline, Sirji. Absorb the overhead on which basis? Direct labor hour. Direct labor hour basis is activity based costing, or direct labor hours basis is a traditional method of costing? Overhead on the basis of labor hour rate, Sirji. Online student also, I am checking your answer, so please answer as well. Huh? Yes, Sirji. Tell me, sir. Fast answer is expected, Sirji. Machine hour rate, labor hour rate, unit rate is applicable in activity based costing, or it will be applicable only in traditional method of costing? Traditional method of costing. So what is the formula for labor hour rate? Formula for labor hour rate is equal to, is it budgeted overheads divided by budgeted labor hours? Correct, Sirji? Next part. The budgeted overheads and direct labor hours for the month 2019 March is 15 lakh and 25,000 hours respectively. So kindly please tell me how much will be the overhead absorption rate under traditional method of costing. Simple formula, budgeted overheads upon budgeted labor hours. Yes sir, online student, face to face batch student, please tell me budgeted overheads are 15 lakhs divided by budgeted labor hours are 25,000. Please check how much will be the overhead absorption rate per labor hour. Yes sir. How much it is? 60. 60 rupees per hour is your overhead absorption rate. Next one. Read next part guys. Production data is given 3200 units, 3840 units. Direct material cost is given. Direct labor cost is given. A, 3 hours at 120 per hour. B, 4 hours at 120 per hour. Overheads of 15 lakhs can be identified with the following three major activities: order processing, machine processing, product inspection. Please take a total of these, everyone. Sajid, please take a total of these. 3 lakhs plus 10 lakhs plus 2 lakhs. How much is your total? Whether your total is 15 lakhs? What important point I told you, Sarji? Follow traditional method of costing or follow activity based costing. Your total overhead should remain same. So 15 lakh, 15 lakhs. You can check in the first part also, when we have calculated that labor hour rate, total overhead were given 15 lakh rupees. So 15 lakh, your total overhead should remain the same. Next one. Sarji, now you tell me, match the pair quickly for the first order processing, which is appropriate cost driver. See the next table. Order process given, machine hours worked given, inspection hours given. Sarji, yes sir, please tell me, which is the appropriate rate for the order processing? Is it order process? Yes or no? It is your order process. Let's go to the next part, Sarji. Machine processing. What will be your appropriate rate for the machine processing? Please check, Sarji. Machine processing. Is it machine hours? What is the cost driver rate for the product inspection? Please check, Sarji. Is it inspection hours? Next one. So all number of inspection, number of order, machine hours are given. Prepare a statement showing manufacturing cost per unit of each product using absorption method of costing, assuming budgeted manufacturing volume is attained. Yes, Sarji, traditional method of costing you will have to follow. Quick answer for Sarji, for traditional method of costing, what will be the first step? Remember, sir, in traditional method of costing, first of all, you calculate overhead absorption rate and you prepare the cost sheet. Two steps you will have to follow. First step under traditional method of costing will be, first step will be to calculate overhead rate as per the given in a question. Whether machine hour rate given, labor hour rate given, unit rate given, read question and calculate that. And once you calculate overhead rate, immediately you can prepare the cost sheet. Now in this question, labor hour rate or machine hour rate, sir, I forget which rate is given, Sirji, labor hour rate or machine hour rate? Labor hour rate. So already we have calculated that labor hour rate, 15 lakh rupees is your total overheads, budgeted overhead divided by 25,000. You told me 60 rupees, correct, Sirji? 60 rupees per hour is your overhead absorption rate. Now immediately we will calculate the cost sheet. Sir, what important point I told you regarding the cost sheet? Under traditional method of costing, will you prepare total cost sheet or you will prepare per unit cost sheet? Generally per unit you will prepare, but if in a question specifically it is given that prepare a total cost sheet, then no option to you, sir. But else prepare cost sheet per unit. How much is the material cost given in the question, Sirji? Material cost given, Sirji, 350 and 400, correct guys? 350 per unit and 400 per unit. Sirji, labor cost you will have to check, Sirji. How much is the labor cost? 360 and 480. So 360 and 480 is your labor cost. Direct material plus direct labor is equal to your prime cost. 710 and 880 is your prime cost. Then you will add overhead. What is your predetermined rate you have calculated, Sirji? Is it 60 rupees per labor hour? Now multiplied by labor hours. Sirji, check in the question in this table. Labor hours are given. For A, 3 hours required, and for B, 4 hours are required. Correct, guys? So 60 rupees per hour multiplied by 3, 60 rupees per hour multiplied by 4. Is it 180 will be your answer and 240 will be your answer? So prime cost plus factory overhead is equal to your total factory cost. Factory cost per unit is 890 and 1120 per unit. They have asked to calculate per unit only. Next one. First question is over. Everyone now please read the second one. What is the second question? Determine the cost driver rate and prepare the statement showing manufacturing cost per unit of each product using activity based costing. Sir, quickly tell me 5 steps of the activity based costing. Quick answer. First step, define activity. Sir, which are the activity? 3 activities are given in this question: order processing, machine processing, and product inspection. Step number 2, calculate the cost of the activity. No need to calculate, already cost is given in the question: 3 lakh, 10 lakh, and 2 lakh. Third step, define cost driver, appropriate cost driver. You told me for order processing, order process is a cost driver. For machine processing, machine hours is a cost driver. For product inspection, number of inspection is a cost driver. So you will calculate overhead absorption rate, any activity cost driver rate, then you will prepare the cost sheet. Yes sir. So first of all, we prepare one statement of activity cost driver rate. Sirji, no need to remember this statement. The steps we follow are the column. Which is our first step, sir? Is it activity? Which is our second step? Cost of the activity. Which is our third step? Define cost driver. Which is our fourth step, sirji? Units of cost driver. Means cost driver and units of cost driver will write separately generally. And next one will be calculate activity cost driver rate. Last column will be activity cost driver rate. So simple. 3 lakh divided by 600. How much is the rate per Sarji order? Sarji, 3 lakh divided by 600. Is it 500 per order, Sarji? 500 per order. In the next 1 lakh are the machine hour divided by 10 lakhs, sir, I think so. Divided by 50,000. Is it 20 rupees per machine hour is your rate? Next situation, product inspection, 2 lakh divided by 20,000. Is it 10 rupees per hour is your rate, Prabhu? Perfect. Hai? Now you will prepare the cost sheet. Under activity based costing, I told you, you will prepare cost sheet total or you will prepare cost sheet per unit. You will have to prepare total cost sheet. So material cost, sir ji. How much is the material cost? 350 multiplied by 350 per unit. 3200 units, sir. If you can check that, number of units given 3200 and 3850. You just have to multiply this. So it will be your material cost. Check, sir. How much will be the material cost? 350 multiplied by 3200. Is it 11 lakh 20,000? In the next way, 400 multiplied by 3850. Your answer comes to 15 lakh 40,000. Similarly, labor cost per unit given multiplied by number of unit 360 multiplied by 3200. Your answer comes to 11 lakh 52,000. Then 480 multiplied by 3850. Your answer comes to 18 lakh 48,000. Yes or no? So direct material plus direct labor is equal to your prime cost. Sarji, your prime cost comes to 22 lakh 72,000, 33 lakh 88,000. In that you will add the activity ka cost. Now first activity I will check. First activity is order processing and the cost is 500 per order. 500 per order. You will just have to multiply it by number of order. Let's check the question. For product A, there are 400 order. For product B, there are 200 order. So 500 is a rate multiplied by 400, 200. Yes, sir. What will be your answer, guys? 500 into 400. Is it 20,000 or 2 lakhs? Are you sure 2 lakhs? Again, 500 multiplied by 200. Is it 1 lakhs? Sir, correct or wrong? Correct, sir. 3 lakhs is correct answer. Perfect. Then machine processing. Rate of the machine processing is 20 rupees per machine hours. In the question, machine hours are given. If you can check that, machine hours are 22,500 and 27,500. So 22,500 and 27,500 into 20. Is it 4,50,000, sir? Please check that. And next one will be 5 lakhs. 5,50,000 will be your total. Then we will check rate of the inspection. Rate of inspection is 10 rupees per inspection hours. In the question, inspection hours are given 5,000 and 15,000. So, Sarji, 10 rupees multiplied by 5,000, 50,000, and 10 rupees multiplied by 15,000, 1,50,000. So, this will be your total activity cost. I'll take a total divided by number of unit. It will be my cost per unit. Sometime in a question, they will give compare the cost per unit under traditional method of costing and under activity based costing. Now guys, why I have calculated per unit here? Please tell me. Under activity based costing, generally we take a total cost. Then why I have divided by number of unit and I have calculated cost per unit? Answer is very simple. What is that answer, Sarji? Sarji, if you want to compare cost under traditional method of costing and activity based costing, so Sarji, we have calculated under traditional method of costing cost per unit. It is illogical to compare per unit cost of one method with total cost of another method. That's why we calculated per unit under both the method. 890, 890, and I think so 1120. How much it is? 890 and 1120 is your total cost, and here your total cost comes to 928.75, 1087.79. Now, Sarji, in the question they have asked cost distortion. What they have asked? Cost distortion. Please concentrate. Everybody, please concentrate. Which is the best method? Traditional method of costing is the best method, or activity based costing is the best method? Activity based costing is the best method of calculation of the cost of the product. Best method, Sarji. It is a logical and scientific assignment of the overhead cost to the product. Cost assigned to the product on some suitable basis, on the basis of service taken by the product of an activity. So perfect costing you will get with the help of activity based costing, Sarji. Perfect cost you will get under activity based costing, guys. So this theory you will have to write. Sometime they will ask which method is better, ABC is better or traditional method of costing is better. Then you will write ABC is superior method than traditional absorption method. Generally in traditional absorption method we use machine hour rate, labor hour rate to apportion the overhead. But under activity based costing method we use separate rate for each activity. Then we apportion the cost to the product on the basis of service taken by the product of that activity in that ratio only. So it is more appropriate method of apportionment of cost. Correct costing will be done under ABC. This paragraph you will have to write in examination. So cost as per traditional method of costing is 890 and activity based costing is 928.75. Check, sir, how much is the difference? Cost distortion means difference between these two. Cost distortion means difference between these two. So whatever the difference you will have to write here. Okay, so this is one very important question. So 2-3 times this question is repeated. Now, sir, one more question. I'll just inform you some very interesting more questions. Everyone, please come to one question we had solved. It is there in our study material as well, which is most important question. Numbers can differ, sir. Batch to batch number can differ. Okay. So if some students are from the previous batch, number may change. If from the current batch, number can change. So please check, sir. Now everyone please read this question. Everybody. Woolmark Limited manufacture, most important question, guys. Most important question. Woolmark Limited manufacture 3 type of product, namely PQR. The data relating to the period are as under. Sir, machine hours per unit. I will underline that. Machine hours are given, but machine hours per unit given. Sir, the direct labor hours per unit given at rupees 20. Labor hours given 412.8 and rate of the labor is 20 rupees. Material cost is given in rupee term 90, 80, 120. Production units are given 3000, 5000, 20,000. Currently, company uses traditional costing method and absorb all production overhead on the basis of machine hours. Sir, which method is followed here under traditional method of costing? Machine hour rate. What is the formula for machine hour rate? Simple, sir. Total budgeted overhead divided by total machine hours. Correct, guys? Machine hour rate. Sir, fortunately in this question they have already given the machine hour rate. Sir, how much is your machine hour rate? Is it 6 rupees per hour? How they have calculated this machine hour rate? Sir, budgeted overhead divided by budgeted machine hours is equal to 6. Correct, guys? Next part, sir. Company now proposes to shift to activity based costing and the activity analysis are as under. Very important point, guys. Number of batches given, number of setups given or batch size given. Read it carefully, Sirji. batch size is given. What do you mean by batch size? Batch size means that product P will be produced 150 at a time. In one batch, 150 units will be produced. Q in one batch, 500 units will be produced. R in one batch, 1000 units will be produced. So after that batch, again you will set up the machine. After that batch, again you will set up the machine. Okay. Number of purchase order. Sir, I will double underline this. Number of purchase order given. But what it is, sir? Given per batch. Number of inspection are also given. But what they have given, number of inspection per batch they have given, sir. We want total number of inspection. We want total number of purchase order. But they have given per batch. Correct, sir? And they have given the batch size. Most interesting part given in this question. Total production overhead are analyzed as under. Sirji, machine setup cost is 20%. Machine operation cost is 30%. Inspection cost is 40%. Material procurement related cost is 10%. Calculate cost per unit under absorption method of costing. And calculate cost per unit under activity based costing. ABC also asked and traditional method of costing also asked. Yes, sir. Now please tell me very quickly, guys. You have that question. Tell me which are the 2 or 3 products given in the question. Which are the 2 or 3 products given in the question? Tell me, sir. 2 products are there or 3 products are there? 3. Which are there 3 products? A, B, C, P, Q, R, X, Y, Z. Which are those? P, Q, and R. Okay, sir. Concentrate and tell me. How much is your material cost per unit? It is already given in the question. Read it carefully and tell me. How much is the material cost per unit, Sirji? Is it 90, 80, 120? 90 rupees, 80 rupees and 120. Check how much will be the labor cost, guys. Be careful, Sirji. Labor ka rate is given 20 rupees per hour, I think so. And how many hours required for P? 4 hours. How many hours required for Q? Sorry? 12 hours. How many hours required for R? 8 hours. So please tell me how much will be the labor cost applicable to P? Is it 80 rupees? Is it 240? Is it 160? So material plus labor will be your prime cost. So what will be your prime cost in the first scenario? Is it 170? Is it 320? Is it 280? Are yes or no? Please check us our answer. If anyone is having answer also, please check, because Sirji, I am solving orally. Problem means wrong can be there. Next one. In that prime cost, I'll add overhead. Sir, traditional method of costing. Which rate is given under traditional method of costing? That 6 rupees is given. What is that 6 rupees, Sirji? Please tell me. Machine hour rate or labor hour rate? Machine hour rate. So you will multiply by the machine hours. Check the machine hours given in the question, Sirji. Is it 10, 18, 14? 10, 18 and 14. Please calculate and tell me. 10 into 6, is it 60? Next one. Please tell me, Sirji. 18 multiplied by 6. Yes, Sirji. 108. 14 multiplied by 6. 84. So direct material, direct labor, prime cost plus factory overhead is equal to total factory cost. How much is the factory cost? Is it 230 in the first column? 428 in the next column? 364 in the next column? Traditional method of costing was very simple. Directly, overhead absorption rate directly given in the question, 6 rupees. Now please tell me, guys, what to do into activity based costing. What is your step number 1 of ABC? Fast answer, Sirji. Sirji, define activity. No need to define, directly activities are given in the question. Setup is activity, operation is activity, inspection is activity, material procurement is activity. But you will stuck at one point. Cost of the activity is not given in this question, Sirji. But they have given 20, 30, 40 and 10%. Of the total overhead, 20% is machine setup, 30% is machine operation, 40% is machine inspection. Material procurement will be 10%. But sir, how I can calculate total overhead, sir? If you remember my very important observation, important point, total overhead under traditional method of costing and ABC should be same. And some students are giving answer, sir, with the help of that overhead absorption rate 6 rupees, right, sir? You can calculate total overhead. Please tell me, Sirji. Sirji, machine hour rate, right, sir? Machine hour rate or labor hour rate? Machine hour rate. Sirji, budgeted overhead divided by budgeted machine hours is equal to 6. Budgeted overhead divided by budgeted machine hours. Please tell me how many machine hours are there in case of P. 10 multiplied by plus 18 multiplied by plus 14 multiplied by. Yes, sir ji. It is required per unit, sir. Multiplied by number of units. Sir ji, how many number of units are there? Is it 3,000, 5,000, 20,000? 3,000, 5,000 and 20,000. Please tell me is equal to 6. Therefore, budgeted overheads upon, take a total of that machine hours. How many total of that machine hours is? Are you sure, Prabhu? 4 lakh is equal to 6. Therefore, boss budgeted overhead is equal to 4 lakh into 6. Is it 24 lakh rupees total budgeted overheads? Are hai na? Now, easily you can tell me, sir, first overhead given of setup, I think so. Yes or no? Sir, ji, setup. How much percentage? 20% or 30%? 20%. Is it 4 lakh 80,000? After setup, which one is next? Machine operation expenses. 30%, I think so. 7 lakh 20,000. Next one. After that, inspection. Inspection, how much? 40%. 9 lakh 60,000. Next one. Material procurement cost. Material procurement cost is how much? 10%. Is it 2 lakh 40,000? Now, Sirji, up to which step you have reached? First step you have defined the activity. Second step you have calculated the exact cost of each activity. And third step will be define cost driver. Now match the pair, Sirji. For setup, what is the appropriate cost driver, Sirji? Is it number of setups, number of batches, correct, sir? Number of batches are given or batch size is given? Number of batches not given, sir. Batch size is given. You will have to calculate number of batches. Sirji, machining cost is dependent on what? Machining cost is dependent on what? Sirji, machining cost is dependent on machine hours. Yes or no? Inspection cost is dependent on what? Is it number of inspection? And material procurement is dependent on number of orders. Now, so much problem to me. Sir, number of inspection is given, but how it is given? Read it carefully, sir. Total inspection given or inspection per batch given? Per batch. So, you'll have to multiply by number of batches. Material procurement cost per order given. Number of order given per batch given. Correct, guys? You'll have to multiply by number of batches. So, sirji, remember one thing. If in a question, total number of setups, total machine hours, total inspection, total number of order, total number of deliveries are not given. If units of cost driver are not given, first calculate units of cost driver. Remember this, sir. What I told you, sir. If in any particular question, units of cost driver not given, then what you will do? First calculate that unit of cost driver. Are you agree with this, sir? Now, sir, how to calculate that? Which are the product, Prabhu? Is it product A, product B, product C, and is it total compulsory, sir? Tell me how much is the output. Fast answer, sir. How much is the production quantity of A? 10,000 na A? 3,000 only. Okay, A is 3,000. B, 5,000. C, 20,000. Can you please tell me how much is the batch size? Can you please tell me how much is the batch size, sir? In one batch, how many quantity of A you prepared? 1, B, C, 1,000. Immediately, if in one batch I produce 150, then I want to produce 3,000. So 3,000 divided by 150, sir, number of setups. Number of setup will be 3,000 divided by 150. Is it 20 setups required for product A? 5,000 divided by 500, 10 setups required for B. C, is it 20 setup required? Is it total number of setups are 50? Saji, machine hour per unit given. Kindly tell me how much is the machine hour per unit. Saji, machine hour per unit is 10, 18 and 14. Correct, sir? Now I will calculate total machine hours. Total machine hour 3,000 into 10, 30,000. 5,000 into 18, 90,000. 20,000 into 40, 2 lakh 80,000. Saji, total machine hours comes to, you told me 4 lakhs. Yes or no? So total machine hours over. Saji, then check one more item given in the question, guys. Sir, number of orders. Sir, number of orders given, but number of order per batch given. Correct, sir? How much it is in the question? 3, 10, Are you sure 8? 3, 10 and 8. Quickly tell me how much will be the total order, Sarji. Per batch it is 3. So multiplied by number of batches, that is 20. Is it 60, Prabhu? 10 multiplied by 10, is it 100? 8 multiplied by 20, is it 160? Can someone tell me, is it 320, Prabhu? 320 or 2? How much it is? 320. Next one, Sarji. Next item given in the question, Sarji. Number of inspection given per batch given. So number of inspection per batch per setup given. How much it is? 5, 4, 3. Now easily you can tell me how much will be total number of inspection. Total number of inspections are 5 multiplied by 20. Is it 100? 4 multiplied by 10. Is it 40? 3 multiplied by 20. Is it 60? Is it 200, guys? So remember in the question, if units of cost driver not given, first calculate these units of cost driver. Total setup, total machine hours, total inspection, total delivery, total dispatch not given. First calculate that. And now easily you can calculate overhead absorption rate. How to calculate that overhead absorption rate? That is activity cost driver rate. This is your activity. Cost of the activity. Units of cost driver, you know now. How many number of setups are there? Is it 50 setups? Divided 4,80,000 divided by 50, Sarji. 9,600 per setup. 7,20,000 divided by machine hour. Sarji, 4 lakhs are your machine hours. Sarji, 1.8 per hour is your rate. Inspection 9,60,000 divided by total number of inspections. Sarji, inspection are 200. Correct, sir? 4,800 per inspection. 2,40,000 divided by 320, sir, the number of orders. Yes, sir. Please tell me how much it will be, Sarji. 2,40,000 divided by 320. How much it will be? 750 per order. Now, second table cost sheet is very simple. Direct material, direct labor already we have calculated. So the direct material, direct labor already we have calculated in the previous table of traditional method of costing. Just you will have to take a total direct material, total direct labor, and you just have to multiply. You already calculated activity cost driver rate. Multiply that activity cost driver into that units of cost driver. Immediately you can prepare the cost sheet. So very few adjustments are there in this topic. Remember that important thing. If units of cost driver not given, then you will have to first calculate that units of cost driver. Then each and every questions, if you can check that all questions are similar. Next, Sarji. In the question, in your study material, guys, 2-3 questions are given. 2-3 questions are given where, guys, drugstore chain, chemist shop, okay, wholesale, etc. Something like this. Sir, in that question, they will give you revenue. They will give you revenue. They will give you COGS also. So remember, sales minus COGS. I am talking about these questions, Sarji. Everyone please check, Sarji. I am talking about these questions. This one, Sarji. Premium hall, recliner hall, 17 question. Or you can check the next appropriate question, Sarji. Next appropriate will be this type, Sarji. 20 number question. Soft drink, fresh produce, packaged food. Revenue is given. Cost of goods sold will be given. Correct, guys? In this type of question, just you'll have to do like this. Sales minus COGS will be your gross profit. Sales minus COGS will be your gross profit. From that gross profit, deduct selling and distribution overhead. So in the question, you will be given selling and distribution overhead like bottle return, ordering, delivery, shelf stocking, customer support, and so on. And then you will get the net profit. Then you will get the net profit. Yes, sir. So this is your very simple topic, activity based costing. I request you today go through all the question. It will hardly take half hour or 1 hour to complete all the question. Okay, So topic is completed, nothing extra in this topic, only traditional method of costing, question, ABC question, and same step we'll have to follow. So thank you so much guys.